To all of you. Today in this my video discussion, I will discuss about HPLC. It means high performance liquid chromatography. So this lecture is about the instrumentation and methodology. So various type of the methodological techniques used in the science for the separation of the various type of biomolecules. Also detecting the natures, particle size and molecular weight of them. So HPLC is one of them technique. It is a chromatographic analysis. If I talk about its principle, the basic idea behind it is the paper chromatography. It is type of column chromatography, and it is a basic type of technique used in chromatography. If I talk about the paper chromatography, what we do, we apply the sample on the Waterman filter paper and we dip it in the solvent, that is the mobile phase. What does then happen? The mobile phase, that is the solvent, run in the capillaries in the Waterman filter paper, and the sample also run along with it. And the various type of colors are seen: C1, C2, C3, C4. Suppose these are color, and number of the colors appearing after the separation determine the number of the molecules in the mixture. Here we use this principle in the HPLC. But if I talk about the excess of the sample, here occur the back pressure that disturb the flow. So it affect the result. So here we apply the high pressure to overcome this difficulty. Next, HPLC is very efficient technique, specific method for separation of biomolecules. It is faster method than other techniques. Here we use the pressure pump for running the solvent and the solute, that is analyte, that is to be separated, and it is done very high speed. It is an automated, well equipped device for the separation. So it is mostly recommended method for the separation in day-to-day life. Next is the steps in the HPLC. Here we discuss about the column packing, mobile phase and pump, application of the sample, detector, recorder and sample collector. Column packing, the column is related with the stationary phase. And the mobile thing, the solvent, solute are the mobile phase. So stationary phase and mobile phase are very important consideration in the chromatographical analysis. Here is a brief review about the principle for the HPLC. Here the particle size is main. Stationary phase that can withstand the pressure. So the particle size of the stationary phase, the particle which are embedded in the column, their size matters. And the pressure that we apply through the pump increases the flow. So it is advanced technique for the separation of macromolecule by the high pressure pump. It overcomes the problem of back pressure. As we see in the column chromatography, the capillary pores are occupied by the excess of the sample and the back pressure occur and the result is disturbed. So the microprocessor are also used and they allow the control flow and efficient detection of the molecule by the various type of the detector by the UV, IR and spectrophotometers. So it can detect even single atom or single molecule that is to be separated. Next is the column. Column is the stationary phase and it is made up of the stainless steel. So stainless steel is very solid alloy and it can withstand the pressure 5.5 10 is to power 7 Pascal, having the length 15 to 50 centimeter and diameter 1 to 4 millimeter. Microbore column are also embedded in it, and they are internally implanted here and having a diameter 1 to 2 millimeter and length 25 centimeter, and they can sustain this much of the pressure. This is about principle and the column packing of chromatography. The west column are precision bore. So precision accuracy is done for the bore formation. So with the internal mirror finish allow the efficient packing, or in the inner side of the column the mirror are finished done packing by the mirror in the interior side, and they allow the packing efficiently and homogeneous way. The porous plug of stainless steel or the Teflon are used in the end of column to retain the packing material. So in the end we use the Teflon that withstand the pressure of the column, and we can apply the lid over it. Next, the matrices and the stationary phase. Here are three methods, that is a microporous sport, sport, and bonded phase. In the microporous, the micropore are formed and having one 5 to 10 micrometer diameter. Sport has 40 micrometer diameter and they are coated with the inert gases. Bonded phase, there are the chemically bonded substance most commonly used, that is a silicon dioxide, and it increase the polarity. Silicon dioxide increase the polarity of the sample. I hope this is clear to you. Next is the column packing. So specific material is used here for the column packing. It depends on the nature of the packing material and dimension of the particle. So it is densely done, densely packed. So column separation packing should not be loosely held. It should be densely packing. Mobile phase and pump. The pressure pump are used here for the fast flow of eluent, that is a solvent that run along with the solute. The solvent may be organic or inorganic, or it may be the mixture of the both, and the choice of the solvent depend upon the what we are actually separating. If we are separating the polar substance, we need to add the more polar solvent. If we are separating the non-polar, we need to use the non-polar solvent. We can use a mixture also. Most commonly used are water, ACN and ethanol as a solvent. Next is the application of sample. So it is very main step. It is done by the micro syringe. Next there are the detector. They can detect the molecules separating. So detector here are the fluorescent detector, UV detector and infrared detector. Next is the block diagram of the HPLC apparatus. Here is the solvent reservoir. Solvent is filled in a beaker. So it is reservoir. It is held through a pipe with a high pressure pump. The high pressure pump send the solvent with high speed. Here in the middle side there is a sample injection loop that inject the sample. So we run the solvent and then inject the sample, and the solvent is run into the column. The column is packed with the densely packed material that I have discussed earlier. Then the sample and solvent run parallelly and they pass through the detector. So the detector detect the molecules, and after detecting they are sent in the sample collector. Here the actually separated sample is collected. The detector send its recording to the recorder, and it is automated computerized device. Here we have PC and screen that record the result, and we have the chromatogram. So chromatogram is come in the form of the peak of different length and broadening. It tell us about how the concentration of particle is and what is the nature of the particle. So for different type of molecules, different type of peaks are seen. These are the component of the HPLC apparatus. Next there is the pumping system that pump the solvent into the column. So here is first is the constant displacement pump. So here is the inlet that is held to the reservoir of the solvent, then is outlet that send the solvent to the column. Here the piston system driven by the motor having the pulley and belt. So what is its purpose? When the motor is downstroke, then the piston come down, the outlet valve is closed, here this valve is closed, and the inlet valve open. Inlet valve is opening, allowing the entry of the sample solvent, and the effluent to the pump chamber is filled. Here the solvent is filled. Then in the upstroke reverse occur. This is closed and this is open. And the collected solvent here is sent to the outlet valve and then to the column. This is actually what happened through the pump. Next type of version is the reciprocating type of the pump. Here what occur? Here it is cam type of the machinery used that are not actually joined by the belt. Here the pressure on the one component down pull other and the low pressure uplift other. So here the basis on the weight on the previous component uplift or downlift the upcoming component. Here the piston up and down have the same mechanism and it allow the solvent the entry to the column. Here is the piston position of the various type of ports made in the loading position and the injecting position. HPLC loop injector, these are the injector. So loop is loaded, first is the loading state. What occurs? The port number 3, here we inject the syringe. When we are injecting the sample, we have to set our setting on the loading position. This is the main point to be remembered. Then what happens? Here we inject the sample and from port number 1 the event that is the solvent is pumped here and it is sent to port number 2 and then to the column. The excess of the solvent is drained into the waste container by the port number 5 and the 6. And the second is the injecting loop. Here the event flow from 1 to 6, then 3 to 2 the column, and 5 and 4 are containing the excess of the solvent as a waste. I hope it's clear to you. In the last there is the applications of the HPLC. First it is speedy method, vastly recommended method, and it is sensitive technique as we have used here the detector. Separation of the macromolecule occur, that is the oligopeptide protein, and the microbe culture product. The microbe we use their various microbe for culture of the various type of component such as vitamin, protein, lipids, enzyme and hormone, and they are collected and separated with the help of HPLC. I hope it is clear to you. If you have any query related to my discussion, you can comment in comment box. If you like my channel, like this videos, subscribe my channel and share this among the science student. Here I have also tried to add animated video. I hope you will like in the end of this video. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.